business operates. And that way, when they get out of college, or maybe they've gone to a trade school, maybe they're an electrician, and they go, you know what, I'm tired of working for Joe Blow. I want my own shop. They'll have some idea of how to go about it and how to stay in business. You know, there's certain rules that you have to learn if you're going to be a business person. Okay? And I don't care, boys, girls, it doesn't matter. Because what if a girl wants to open a, I don't know, a food truck, or a hair salon, or for that matter, become an electrician herself? It doesn't matter what choice, what path they choose. The ability to have learned some of this stuff in high school, okay, will always benefit.
And they'll have a job reference.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm always looking, you know, when I talk to students, I've got an instructor that he has a little bit of business and management experience. I'm going to stick him in charge of another airport here soon, because he has those skills. He's had that experience. And apprenticeship programs, we've got the paperwork in hand to do a maintenance, aircraft maintenance apprenticeship program. Do you know the state will pay apprentices $12 an hour? I don't even have to pay the kid a wage, you know? But yet we can bring him in and we can teach him a skill, a trade. And then if he changes his mind, that's fine. He can go do something else if he wants. Or he can, perhaps, having seen how we run a business, maybe he can turn around and go start his own maintenance shop. That's what this should be all about.
Sorry, I have oh, go right ahead, man. Okay, it's kind of off topic, but you guys say you keep sexually explicit content out of our school libraries. Curious how you plan to do that, because they've got, you know, like the Gay Students of America clubs and everything going on now in our schools. I think the door's shut. But also, do you plan to keep it out of the classrooms as well? Because I know sometimes teachers.
So let me add on what she said.
Yeah.
My daughter brought to my attention from the school, I'm not going to name any names, but one of the teachers has kids there, and they are that transgender wannabe kind of thing. They want to be clothed in this, that. She's trying to start a club that is gays and straights united kind of thing, and get people together and all that. And I told my daughter, no, you stay away from that, because all that's doing is creating division in people. It's putting division in people's heads, saying that gays and straights cannot get along, so we have to have this club to get along.
And that's the only place we're going to get along, because the only people that are going to get along are in that club.
Yeah, and the thing is, the kids don't care what you are. They just want to be kids.
Yeah.
So the first thing is what you just did, you addressed it.
Yeah, and I told her.
If you don't address it, but you gotta take it to the school board.
Yeah.
You gotta take it to the administration, and you've gotta tell them, this is the problem.
We don't want this.
But honestly, I mean,
But
are
the
they
thing
gonna
is,
listen?
Out here in Rock River,
this
we
school.
feel,
Yeah.
being out here in Rock River, we feel like we're pushed aside. We're left out. We get the leftovers of Laramie.
Well, that's what we're trying
I
to
mean,
help.
there's
them.
two schools. There's two schools that well, there's more schools down in Laramie, but as far as funding is going, Laramie High School and us get pretty much the most, but we get the smallest piece of the pie. You know, yeah, that school was just recently built, not too long ago, but it's like they overlook us.
Well, if you
And
guys-
it's not fair to our kids out here. I wish more of the parents of their kids that go to the school would have showed up tonight.
Well, do us a favor and talk to them about us, but we are contacts on it, they can go to the county website, get our phone, even not our phone number, but emails, but we as, not board members yet, we will respond. The board members were not responding, we want to talk to every single one of you guys. I would not be opposed to even, coming out here like this.
That was
board
one
members
idea
to
I was
talk to you
thinking of
guys.
too, is okay, you hold board meetings down there.
Correct.
Why not come up here and do it
Correct.
just for Rock River?
All
There
you
you go.
have to do is announce it as a public
That's right.
meeting, and anybody can show up
Yeah.
as long as you announce it,
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Nope.
You guys could totally come to the board and say, hey, we want to have a teacher or a parent board communication. And you set up a special meeting and we come out.
And every single one of us are gonna be willing to do that.
Absolutely.
And I don't get that feeling from the current board.
Oh, no. Oh, they couldn't be bothered, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, peasant.
So what you need to do right now, before the school board changes, you guys need to bombard the school superintendent with complaints. Emails, go ahead and visit with him.
They just
He's a
file
settler.
it in the can.
You got this one.
Not the new one.
Not the new one.
Danny, absolutely. The new one
Give me
was
that
actually out
information.
here a month ago.
With the new superintendent that we have,
Wait, what's
it
his
is,
name?
it is Dr. Goldhart. And Dr. Goldhart has initiated a process called Meet and Confer.
Right.
And it is his plan to get out as a superintendent, but also to take the board out to all of the different schools in the district. No, he will do it. And so he's going to be getting the board out to the different schools in the district to open up those chains of communication. This is the efforts of the new superintendent. I am cautiously optimistic that he will do that. We have visited with him, and I do believe that he is going to make some positive changes, but he cannot do it without a board that will back him up and support him, because I know him to be a conservative individual who would really like to be an active partner in the community, but he's got to have a board that will support him. in
That's
that.
the
He
feeling
doesn't
I
right now.
get with Laramie. It feels like there's a change going on down there. They're seeing the BS.
They are.
The curtain's been pulled back, and going to these political events that Paul and I put on, you know, let it be House representatives or anything. It just feels more, people are looking more centerline versus me versus you, blue versus red, whatever it is. People are looking more centerline. And that's kind of how I like to look at it. I like, hey, do you have a good head on your shoulders?
Okay, after the election, and you guys all get in, when do you take over? First of the year or?
January, so we'll take our oaths in December, and then our first meeting will be in January.
Okay.
And I do want to get to you, but just to answer that question about what we're gonna do about those books.
Yes.
Okay, well, number one, there's already on the books, there's policies that say they cannot have this kind of stuff in the
It's
schools.
already
All
in
we
the
need to do is reinforce it. We need to hold them accountable, hold the superintendent accountable. He says he's gonna do this for you guys. This is the group's gonna hold them accountable, says, you said it, we're doing it, and we're gonna go, and this is.
And we gotta hold the librarians to that too, because it's
Yes.
their job
And
to
that's just
filter
it.
the books.
Correct.
And pull everything out.
Correct, sir. Yes.
Here's the
And that's
thing.
why we say transparency, accountability,
Yeah.
is because we want to hold people accountable according to the bylaws. The rules are already there, they're
Yeah.
just not being followed or enforced.
The US Supreme Court, years and years ago, established what the standard is for what is or is not pornography. And it all comes down to what is acceptable to the community. Not to the librarian,
Right.
not to the doctor,
Not to the board,
not to the board.
teachers, yeah.
It's the community. And again, we're coming back to, we have to have parents getting involved. And if parents come to the board and say, this is unacceptable,
Yeah.
then under the Supreme Court rule of law, it's not acceptable.
But on the other hand, we also gotta have a board that will let the parents talk.
Yes.
'Cause I've heard they don't let anyone talk.
Yes.
It's exactly what.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. So, let's, we're getting close to our ending time. Let's take final questions.
We've had a question
When
here.
you have a question.
Yes, I do have a question, it's a question I'm gonna be asking from three of the members up here at least. So, I am very glad to see a very diverse, starting from College of Engineering to education, special ed and everybody, all the way to the aviation industry as a school board, and I hope everybody, all of you get in, including you, like also from the towing IAD. So, my question is, starting with Mike, I would ask you this, in your website you talk about foundational fundamental education. So it's about foundational things. So what is your thoughts on students studying the Declaration of Independence and possibly the Constitution before they graduate, like studying that.
I think by the time a student graduates from high school, he should have read the Constitution, he should have read the Declaration of Independence, and I think that they should have had a discussion in the class of what those things, they feel those things mean. And including the Bill of Rights and the amendments.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They need to have a class on just those things and let them debate them and let those kids think for themselves about what were our forefathers thinking when they brought these things.
Well, that's when I went to school, there was an American history class.
Yeah.
Civics.
Yeah,
Nowadays, that's what somebody wants to call history.
yeah,
They're not telling the
yeah.
truth.
No.
See, and that's my big thing, is a teacher should be up there telling the truth.
No.
I don't care if it's bad, good, or indifferent. It all needs to be taught.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't know what went wrong and what was done wrong, you don't know what to avoid.
If you don't know where we came from, you won't know which way to go.
That's why they taught the classics, Greek and Roman history, because they did all the mistakes, the same ones we're making
So we
now.
don't have to do it again?
Go ahead, continue.
So I have one question for you, sir. Okay, about the liberty. The question is about parents' liberty. Say, how much of an influence parents should have in terms of the mandates that the school board or anybody hands out?
Totally.
They should be involved in it all the way, but mandates, I dislike.
There should not be mandates.
There should, you just don't, it's a parent's choice.
The
When
only
they had
mandate
this
should come
diaper
from the
thing
parents.
out,
That's right.
they say it's fact-based, is BS. I mean, your facts are different than my facts.
Yeah.
But if you have a child and you wanna make them wear a mask, that's unfortunately your choice. You can have them wear a mask all day and it's not it and everything else. But it's not up to the school for me to sit here and dictate what's better for your child because I know better. I don't. I'm gonna listen to y'all and they're your children. You raise them. I'm not there to raise them. Our job is to make sure they get educated so when they get out, they can go get a job and be a productive citizen and support the community they're from and have faith in the country. I served 11 years in the Army. So they should be proud of the United States. And before, I thought they went through the Constitution, Declaration of Independence.
Never done that
But
here.
see, to me, that's common sense. You should be taught that. This is their nation as well as ours. And they need to learn to love the nation, but they just need to support the nation and have honor and respect for it.
If they don't, they move to another country.
If they don't like it here, they can leave.
The last part was to Sarah Elliott about, I think you mentioned about critical race theory and all the other gender things that are taught. What are you going to do differently? If
Oh,
you
that's an easy question to
He
answer.
got a hang.
I'm going to make a motion to the superintendent, that we instruct the superintendent, these are the goals that we want you to go after. One of them is removing all of this divisive, Nazi-based, CRT, SEL, whatever you want to call it. It has no place in our schools.
What if they don't do it?
They're out of job.
For another job.
I'm not saying, but they're still there.
Well, but that's because your board, the previous board hasn't had the backbone to do anything about it. I guarantee you, when I get elected, there will be motions made to clean up the curriculum, clean up the budget, and clean up the staff. And we need to have a top to bottom staff review, because every organization that I've ever dealt with, whether it's the Highway Patrol, the Navy, anybody, they're all top heavy. Every single one of them. Okay? And one of the best things you can do for the health of your organization is to clean out the top. If they're not actively contributing to the welfare and the advancement of the students, they need to find another thing to do. Let them go flip burgers at McDonald's, I don't care.
So most of our education comes from the federal level. We have to start in our local area first to do anything about it.
Yep.
So we'll do one more question. She's been waiting a while, and then we'll do closing comments, a couple minutes from each.
Thank you. My question is this, and you should all have an input to this answer. we keep talking about the parents. We need to talk about engaging them. And what can you do as the board to bring them to the PTSA meetings, bring them to the parent-teacher conferences?
Free cookies.
And involved.
So, I hate going to the school board meetings because it feels like it's a super boring play.
They talk you down. Yes.
There's 9 of them up on a stage and you have to watch them talk and you get absolutely no input.
Yeah.
I think that's crap. So, because I do books for the fire district, our meetings aren't like that. Yes, there's public comment, but that is for non-agenda items only. If it is on the agenda, the entire room gets to have say and input on it. So that's how you engage the parents. And if you look at the agenda and say, oh, no, I have something to say about this, and know that the meeting there'll be an open discussion in the entire room, then that's how you get parents involved. And that's how you listen. I hate being talked at. I want to have a conversation. I love tonight because we all got to talk. And that's what I want the meetings